Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Requires a down converter to get it to older television sets. Comes up on channel 8 with the down converter, and most of the down converters on analog television. So with that, pause for a second and see if anybody needs to make some contact before we get underway or has some emergency traffic. Hearing none so far. N7QO, Jim, I got checked in by a video link. KD7QKU. Is there anybody else that would like to check in? Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 repeater. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's get a net underway and see if we can find Jim, N7QO.
Thank you, Dave, N7QO. Well, good evening. Just had some pretty significant rain pass through here in the past hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Other than that, it was dry the entire day, but cloudy most of the day. We did get some sun breaks maybe around 5 o'clock, maybe earlier than that, maybe like 4 o'clock or so. Right now it's showing 46 degrees here, but it feels a little colder than that. All in all, a pretty nice day. I wish I could see my signal. I'm not able to do that, but I can report that, Dave, you look maybe a little bit better than usual. Ron, you look probably about the same as usual, maybe. Back to you for now, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, great to have you come aboard, Jim. Can see your image on streaming video. It seems to be fairly decent tonight, probably only about a 30-second delay. And what's coming across on RF that I'm seeing is pretty equal to what I'm seeing streaming, which shows you get a good signal in on 434 megahertz to the repeater. So let's go up to KD7QKU.
Okay, good evening, Dave, and good evening, Jim, and good evening, Lee. I have Lee over here on Skype. And anybody else listening? This is KD7QKU. Well, I don't have much to report either. Unlike Jim, we didn't have any rain, Jim. I'm at 48 degrees. I'm a little bit warmer. I was going to go out this morning and work a little bit in the yard, do a few things, but it clouded up. When I got up, it was foggy, and it was a little bit frosty, and then about 10:30, I went outside, and the sun was out, and after I was outside about 15 minutes, the sun went away, clouds came in, and a little breeze came up. The main thing I needed to do, I have a carport, on the east side of the house, on the corner lot, and I have a motorhome and boat and stuff over there, and there's a wall in the carport on the south side. And there's a hole in the wall that the cat can go through. Well, it was kind of large, so I decided to make it a little bit smaller after we saw that bobcat here last week. I decided to make that hole a little bit smaller. We haven't seen the bobcat again, but anyway, I went over and looked at the hole in the fence at the neighbor's house that he went through, and it was pretty darn small. So anyway, I decided to make the hole smaller, which I did, and then after I did that, I put my chop saw away and kind of picked picked up my stuff and decided to call it quits. It was about noon there. And didn't do much the rest of the day. I think I watched the Mariners baseball game. Then tonight, we had corned beef and cabbage for dinner, and so I filled my belly full of corned beef and cabbage. So I guess what's today, St. Patrick's Day? Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. So let's go over and see Lee.
Connected N7KC.
KC, Lee. I'm in Port Angeles. Okay. Well, I was fussing around here, getting myself set up, and I heard Jim in 7QO, and Dave hadn't said hi to Dave yet. I have chatted with Ron a little bit, and I am sorry if somebody else is in there. If so, I didn't get it written down. Anyway, we had a nice day until about, I'm going to guess, 4 o'clock. Started to rain a little bit. Not a lot, just sprinkled just a little bit. And I got some raking done in the yard today, and we went out and ran some errands. I got Grandma's income tax done today on TurboTax, and that's all been printed out and signed and shipped off to the IRS. I finished my taxes a couple of weeks ago. So we're riding high on the saddle over here. Pretty nice day. There seemed like something else happened. I can't think what it was. I did see Ron sent me some photos of that bobcat. My goodness, that's a horny-looking critter. You know, he looks like he's got some years on him. I think he looks like an old cat to me. A big feller, or a big gal, which I don't know how you would know. Yeah, if it was crawling through a hole, Ron, I think I would try to get a catch, see if you could get a few of the fur from it a little bit, you know, put it in a little plastic bag and kind of save it. That'd be kind of fun. We did. Let's see. I hope everybody. Oh, of course. Let me say. I better check my watch here, my stopwatch. I screwed up, you know, big time on that meeting coming up in April. I really messed up. I misread Bob's note to me, and I had it reversed, and so I had everybody all on the lather, and not necessary. Anyway, so the meeting will come down as scheduled on the 7th of April, no issues, and we'll go from there. And I'm hoping that everybody got a chance to look at that cloud video. I put a link in one of my notes. It's kind of fun. And then this morning there was an eagle down on the bluff down there, high in a tree, and all I got was this rump for about 3 or 4 minutes. It wouldn't turn around. Anyway, lots of fun. And all I heard today, she was sitting in the sunroom today. She heard a big thump. I better tell this story next time around. I'm running out of time. This is...
And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, we lost the tail end of Lee. I don't know. I don't think he timed out the repeater. But, wow. Video he sends always looks spectacular. Look forward to seeing that all the time. Well, here in Seattle, a little more yard work for me. And then this afternoon, like everybody else, is sort of clouded up. It got kind of ugly. But the good news is, earlier in the week when we had some sunshine, I got my 1.2 gig antenna pointed in the right direction again, and I'm able to see RF video coming through. It's about a 3.5 tonight for some reason, but earlier in a sunshiny day when I adjusted it, it was a pretty clean P4 picture that was coming back from Cougar Mountain. So anyway, it's great to be able to see images again. As I'm speaking, it's sort of fluttering out, so I don't know what's happening there. could be this rain up on the hill is there, or the antenna is flopping around a little bit in the wind. So don't know what's there. So anyway, it's great. We got Jim, M7QO, we got KD7QKU, M7AC, and myself, KD7GYM. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society again. So with that, let's go back up to Jim, M7QO.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, the 08 machine sounds pretty good tonight. At least so far. Maybe once we warm it up, it'll get finicky. But for now, anyway, it sounds real good. Yeah, Dave, I did a little yard work around here myself. Well, actually, not really yard work. I had a light that went out, which I had to replace. So I was able to get out there before it started raining today, and climbed up on a ladder and got that taken care of. And I know coming over here, I noticed it's working, so I did a good job on that. And that's something 3 months ago I would either have been unable to do that, or it would have been a great challenge for me to do that. So I'm definitely getting better. That's a good thing. Lee, I saw something on the afternoon news about some sprinkles moving into the Port Angeles area. They actually showed a webcam, I guess a weather webcam, and it looked okay, but anyway, they specifically mentioned it on the news. Reset. Ron, Bobcat, yeah. Someone sells a door, a pet door, where your pet wears a collar, and the door will only open when an animal wearing that collar, or maybe carrying that collar, attempts to go through it. Don't know if that would be something worth investigating. But yeah, Lee, I saw the picture of that cat as well, and looks like it's pretty well fed. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a concern there. Just curious, Ron, when it's your turn there, you have a trail camera. Just curious if that caught anything at all. KD7ZYM, M7QO.
M7QO, let's move on. Go to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7ZYM in the group, KD7QKU. Well, Jim, I'm sorry to say you kind of look like, what's his name tonight? I had it on the end of my tongue, and now I can't say it. Alfred Hitchcock. Just sort of see you there, your image. I can't make out much. I do have a trail camera, thanks to Dave, and I had it out for 3 nights, 3 days, and I didn't get any pictures of anything other than my wife walking back and forth. Occasionally, I got a picture of her, so I know it was working. So. And the neighbor across the street, we used to have lots of rabbits, little rabbits around here, and I hadn't seen any for a while, but he was saying, oh no, they're still around. And that he found one up the road that was half eaten or something, and then the next day it was gone for the name. So I don't know what ate that. But then during the day, I just see a couple little rabbits in his front yard right straight across the street. They were nice. They were probably the biggest, fattest little rabbits I've ever seen. They kind of have shorter ears, and they have little, tails that kind of like little cottontails or something. I don't know what kind of little rabbits they are, but they're dark, kind of brown, I suppose. But I saw one early this morning, and then I saw one again this afternoon. I looked over. So there's still some rabbits around here, so that's probably what brought him into our neighborhood. I hope. I haven't seen any signs up lately of missing animals like pets. Hopefully, I warned all the neighbors, so hopefully everybody's kind of keeping an eye on their little dogs and cats. So that's all you can do, I guess. Yeah, and I've seen those or heard about those collars that cats can wear that open the door. It must have some kind of a little magnetic lock or something. But mine has a magnet in the bottom of the door so that it holds it down. The wind doesn't blow it in, but the cat can push it in. And the one in the wall is just to get into the backyard. And if that cat wanted to, he could just jump over the fence. But I thought if he was chasing the cat, that maybe she could go through the hole. He couldn't. He'd have to jump over the fence or something. And then by that time, she would be in the house. That was my hoping. All right, let's go over to Lee. He was going to tell us something, and then he quit. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, N7KC in Port Angeles. Well, first I apologize. I was going to ID at the end with my call there, and I accidentally hit the screen on the phone, which switched off the transmit. And, and I thought, well, maybe I better head and try to bring it back up. So I just let it go. Okay, what I was going to say was that Paula it was a nice morning. She was sitting in the sunroom, very pleasant. I think it was up to 95 degrees or something in there before we opened up the ventilation. So she's sitting there, kind of closed her eyes, and she heard a thump, like a bird strike on our glass. And she opened her eyes and looked, and there was a large hawk was sitting about 2 feet from our sunroom, right immediately to the south. And she didn't think the thump was big enough that it was a hawk that size hitting the glass, but rather maybe the hawk was after a bird which lost control and hit the glass. Anyway, we did not have a fatality. I could not find any deceased birds in the vicinity. So, yeah, good on that. And the other thing I wanted to say was that this coming Tuesday, I think it's the 20th, I've got it logged someplace, is the vernal equinox. The first point of Aries as the sun comes up and crosses the ecliptic. So anyway, look forward to that. Of course, that equinox means that there's equal light, equal dark, 12 hours each way in the day. And I always set up my bubble sextant here, and I get maximum altitude of the sun and that sort of thing, and I log it very carefully. I've been getting really good data every 3 months now, several times. So just for the fun of it. Back to you, Dave.
N7KC, glad to have you aboard. Wow, it was good that birds didn't get injured or even came close to getting injured. This is Dave, 87CYM, the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Is there anybody else who would like to check in? Not hearing any there. Boy, talking about cat stores, I remember covering a story several years ago up on Capitol Hill. The guy had a cat store. He came into his bathroom, and a raccoon had come in and decided to take over his bathroom, and had to call animal control to get it out. And boy, they can sure make a lot of noise when they get a little hoop around their neck. If the experts extract them from a residence, it's the loop on a long pole, and then it just goes around. The loop goes around their neck, and they pull that in on the pole and tighten around like a collar, and then they can actually lift the raccoon up and put it in a storage crate, and that's what they did to this person. So raccoons always are seeking something out there anyway. So 45 degrees here, no rain going on currently. Other than that, a beautiful morning this morning. A little sunshine that came out, finally broke through the clouds about 1 o'clock, and that lasted, maybe 45 minutes until it went down. So that's all I got to report here from Lake City. So we'll go back up to Jim, room 720.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Alfred Hitchcock. Oh, well. Sorry about that. Yeah. That's the best I can do right now. Sorry. Let's see here. Raccoons. Yeah, I've got a family that shows up around my place a couple times a year. They can definitely be ornery. Once upon a time, I had a friend who had a ferret. Holy cow! It's interesting the way the ferret can treat you if they like you. I'd hate to get on some ferret's bad side. That would not be good. Lee, reset. My guess is if the hawk was all that Paula found, it was probably the hawk that ran into the window. I would think that if there was some other bird, surely it would have got pounced upon by the hawk. So I know sometimes birds do that to my place, depending upon the light, if it's just right. And I've seen a couple of times some birds have been swooping down, and I guess just the reflection on the window makes it look like it's a wooded area. And I've seen a couple birds at the very last minute try to veer off. Maybe this one bird was trying to, or maybe the hawk was trying to go somewhere, and then at the almost the last minute he tried to veer off, but wound up impacting it. Guess he was probably a little dazed. 87ZYM and 7QO.
N7QO, 87ZYM here. Let's move on to Ross, 87QKU.
WW7ATS here. I had a thought, but now I've lost it. Well, let's see. I had a kind of a quick phone call with Rob Martin this afternoon. K7QJ. He said he might be on the net tonight, and I was kind of waiting for him to show up. He didn't have anything to report. Everything, as far as he knows, is still about the same. I can let me go over and I can bring up the picture of the room up there. Hang on. I don't know what I did the first time, but anyway, there's the room, and everything in the room looks exactly the way it did the last time I saw it. So the door is the same, and cabinets are all in the same places. He did say that that Rich has been up there a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. He saw it and had been moving some stuff from the other building, the big room. So we're not, because he was going to make a phone call to Rich, or he had sent him an email, I can't remember which. He might have something important if he did. Join us. So everything's kind of still on hold, I think. Or no, nothing's developed. So anyway, let me change it back.
KD7QKU, KD7ZYM. The signal is not responding to your commands up there.
I see that, Dave. I don't know what happened, whether I inadvertently messed it up or something, but I can't control it right now, so we're sort of stuck here. I tried to shut it down. I couldn't shut it down with it. So I don't know what we can do. What do you suggest?
Well, we can have an audio net, and we do have a picture of what's happening up there.
Okay, I'll give Rob a phone call. I'll go back over there and I'll try to change it one more time. You guys can go ahead and talk, I guess.
Right, N7KC, you out there?
I am out here. N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. I guess I didn't get exactly what's going on. I've got the volume turned down on Ron here on the Skype. I gather that he must have switched it over to the camera in the inside of the building or something, and it wouldn't come back, or something like that. Anyway, I don't know. Well, when things get straightened out, well, I was going to try to send a little bit of video, but I'm going to bag it this time around and send it back to you, Dave. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Back to Dave.
Ron seemed to be successful in getting the controller to bring it back over to the input for 434. So anyway, looking good. Ron's there, so send it back to Ron.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Apparently, I somehow knocked it off frequency. So all I had to do was put my radio back on frequency, and then I can control it again. I'm not sure how that happened. So anyway, and I would just report, Jim, as we go on here, your signal's getting a little better as the solution progresses. And if you have something to show us, please, I would say you should let him come.
Okay, N7KC in Port Angeles. Let's see what I can do here. I'm going to hit the start button here. And Ron, what do you see on your screen there? Let me know if I get a black screen on. Is it still working? On the side of the tree, I'd have been out 140 feet over the water. So anyway, so I got a couple of minutes of his rump. But it's a beautiful big bird. And there's a number of them that live on the bluff down here. We've got a nesting pair, at least one. And this may be one of them, I'm not sure. Anyway, well, that's enough of that. This is N7KC in Port Angeles. Back to Dave.
Boy, it did look like a big bird. Once I knew what I was looking for there, I could see the branches blowing around in the wind. And then when you mentioned finally the bird from the rear view, was quite apparent. And a very steady shot you have going on with that.
Yeah, Dave, I was extended out to 30X, and I was in the car and I was trying to hold it steady on the windowsill. Worked out pretty good. Okay, back to the net in N7KC, Port Angeles.
Oh my gosh, time for an ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Yeah, it's always kind of interesting to see, you know, critters in our yards and stuff that don't really belong there, and raises a little bit of buzz with us. I could see where a bobcat could get through a cat door, and that certainly would be a surprise inside. I had a raccoon family mature in my backyard. I had an old hot tub that I had out, and the deck was still there for that. And the raccoon had gone underneath the deck, and the kids had come out and played in the backyard, and I had a laser pointer, and I had fun through my kitchen window. I put the laser pointer out and run it around the yard, and the little kids took out after that, chasing around the yard till they got exhausted, and then Mama sort of herded them back into a shelter and decided that might not be too good of an idea. So I was able to play with that for about a week as they came out in the evening to get a little exercise. They did get kept pretty well by themselves inside. I did see the mother raccoon climb up a tree adjacent to my yard. Looked like he was just trying to get away from the kids for a while, and just went up there and sat for about an hour, and then finally came down and disappeared somewhere in the neighborhood, not knowing where. So that was kind of interesting to see something like that. So with that, I guess we'll go back to Jim, N720.
Uh-oh, where'd I go? N7QO. Well, I definitely don't see me now. Looks like the repeater's not in constantly on position, though. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's inexpensive entertainment with the laser pointer there. My family of squirrels, or my family of raccoons, tends to dig in the ground a lot, and I'm not sure, but I think they raid the stash of one of the squirrels that's around here. Don't know what to make of that. Lee, thanks for the picture of the bald eagle. Like Dave, I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at, but I have a poorer picture than any of you. So I thought that part of his butt was his head until I noticed him poke his head out from the other end of the display. Reset. And that looks like a whole lot of bird for that tiny tree. I don't know, if I were a bird, I think I'd land in a tree that I felt could support my weight without any trouble. But they're probably better aware of it than we are, I guess. Having said that, every now and then the critters will go flying into your windows. So I don't know. Wonder if I even have a laser pointer around here anywhere. I don't know if any of the resident critters would enjoy playing with me with that. I'll have to investigate. Things are just starting to come out, though. I saw, my wife actually saw a couple of deer the other day, and we do have some birds singing, so spring is around the corner here, regardless of whatever the calendar says. They're probably about on time. Sometimes they come a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but pretty much on time this year. 87ZYM and 7QO.
N7QO, KD7ZYM, let's go to KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here. Okay, goes around kind of quick. Guess I don't have a whole lot else to talk about. architect. He had a, oh, Bill Collier, you know, he had a little, he was going in for a, what do you call it? I can't see what I want to say. Well, anyway, a test. And so he'll probably be on Skype a little bit later. I talked to him for a second this morning. I hope he joins us on Skype and kind of fills in. It was, the test was negative. So he doesn't have a breast cancer, I guess. So this is the worry he has with lump, I guess. But anyway, I don't know what they're going to do now. So he maybe will tell us about that later on this evening. So let's see. I guess I'm turning it over to you, Dave. Maybe, over to Lee, I guess.
Okay, and 7KC in Port Angeles. I heard the beep that time. I may have heard it over Skype, I'm not sure, but I let it ID and then, okay. Well, I've got another little video here, which I thought I would try to play. This is, over a year old here, but, there we go. A friend of mine's got a 32-foot Grand Bank, and he had it out on the hard and was, putting bottom paint on it and a new anodes and that sort of thing. And so I was down and got some video of his boat. This is a wooden boat. It's really pretty nice. 32 feet. I think it weighs 17 tons. That's what he told me. I'm watching the clock here so I don't run over. Rebecca Rose. I'd like to have something like that sitting in the marina. Okay, I think I better knock it off here. Anyway, this is N7KC in Port Angeles. Back to Dave.
Wow, that's a nice boat. I'm not sure if the Grand Banks is made in China or not. I thought I heard rumors at one time, but I could be totally wrong on that. But it's kind of an expensive vessel to go to purchase them. I've never seen them in the boat shows here in Seattle in the past. It's pretty luxury inside with that size boat. Well, speaking of birds, gosh, a number of years ago I had a starling come through a window in front of my house, and it was, single strength glass. And it was an area about 12 inches by 18 inches, and the bird penetrated that. It sounded like a firecracker going off in my living room, and naturally it had to happen in December. So once I captured the bird and got him outside, it flew away. But the repair was something else to do because I had to clean out all the glass, and it had a wood frame that went around it, so I had to get all the putty out of that and then prime it with paint before I could put the paint back in. So, boy, that took about 3 days for the paint to dry up. But once I got it back in, got it all in position, and the putty went in, and it looked good as new. So that was the experience. Another time I had a bird came down through the chimney, the fireplace, and I heard this peeping around, finally peeping going on, so I looked up, and there was this little tiny bird, probably about 3 or 4 inches long, that had gotten down the chimney, and got it captured finally, and used a towel. I suppose it was a towel afterwards. It stood on the towel. I don't think it would ever come clean in the washing machine. It got the bird extracted, and it too flew away. And after that, I had a cap put on my fireplace, so no critters, birds can come down the chimney anymore. So that was several years ago. So problem solved. Little critters. Well, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Manhattan page, 87 ZYM. We'll go back up to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, when I was a youngster living with my parents, we had a bird, a small bird, come down the chimney. It wasn't attached to a fireplace. It was associated with our furnace and water heater. And the poor guy just got stuck in there. There's a small door so that you can inspect the chimney, apparently. Not really big enough to do any serious cleaning, but we were able to get that fellow out through there. Guess he was happy to get out of there. But yeah, definitely a lot of soot. Surprising. I was expecting natural gas would burn cleaner than that, but I was quite surprised. Lee, that's an impressive boat. I'm not familiar with the Grand Banks. I really have a very limited knowledge of boats, but that thing looked pretty cool. So, any idea how long they have to take them out of the, how often they must be removed from the water and repainted on the bottom, or whatever else they do to them periodically? Just curious at what interval they do that. Let's see, I was going to mention something else. I don't remember what now. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, Jim, I was able to see your picture. Almost got a face shot on this last transmission, but most of it, again, was sort of a black and white profile of you. And again, we always were joking about Alfred Hitchcock look, but sometimes, you come in pretty good with the face. You actually, see your eyes, nose, mouth, and some background material. So moving along, let's go to 87 QKU.
87 ZYM from the group, 87 QKU. Well, I don't know about boats being made in China. I suppose they do. But I think I heard once upon a time Taiwan was a producer of the boats that a lot of people here in the United States bought. Taiwan maybe made some. And when we were at the rock show, there was kind of an interesting thing that happened. I was sitting there, and I noticed a lot of folks were coming in. We were in an old school building. I don't know what kind of a grade school or high school. I don't know what it who it was. I don't remember the name of it. But anyway, had an auditorium. And it had a bunch of little girls that were going to some other rooms, and they were ballerinas, and they were taking classes, so there was a steady stream of them going by all day. And then later in the afternoon, a bunch of folks came in, and they all had little bird cages, and in their little bird cages they had parrots and they had birds. And couldn't help but notice them because, the parrots were real colorful. And they went down the hall and disappeared. So I said to someone, what's going on? Why are all the people bringing birds in here? Well, you know how they have the dog park where you take your dog over and you let him run around? Well, the folks were going into the basketball court, and I guess they were taking turns letting their birds out and letting the birds fly around the gymnasium, I guess you'd call it. So I almost didn't believe it, so I went peeked in the door, and sure enough, the folks were all in there. They were all sitting in there with their cages, and I don't know if they left more than one loose at once, but if they didn't, they were taking turns one at a time. So their birds, I guess, could fly around and get some exercise. I guess I've never heard of that before. We talked about flying a model airplane in a plane. They were letting their birds fly around. So I guess over to me. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I tried to delay myself there. N7KC in Port Angeles. Well, I have never heard of people letting their birds loose in gymnasiums. I guess you guys probably knew that we fly model airplanes over here in what's called the Vern Burton building, which is an old, big, huge Quonset type of gym that's now associated with the city hall. Really quite nice, beautiful floor and all that. And I just can't imagine you get your bird back, how that would work. That's amazing. Let's see. Jim asked, incidentally, Jim, your audio into the repeater is just really quite nice. You asked about how often they have to haul the boats out. About every 2 years. Depends a little bit on the waters you're in. In cold anti-fouling waters, it could be a little longer, but they use an ablative paint on these boats. And it goes on thick, and it's a copper-based thing, although they're moving to zinc in most places because of the environmental problem of copper in the water. So what happens is as the boat moves through the water, molecules of the ablative paint slough off, and when they slough off, they take and they're biocides too, they're copper, so the fouling material, which could be, kind of grasses and that sort of thing, and barnacles and whatnot, they slough off. So the zinc, the anodes, have to be looked at, I think, every couple of years, and maybe every third year. Depends on how leaky your boat is electrically, and how cold the water is, and how much fouling there is. But I think around here, it's about every 2 years they haul them. And they'll have it out of the water for about a week, and they work like 60 to get the bottom done and get it painted and back in the water. I don't have anything else, I guess. It's been fun tonight. I always enjoy these nets. And Jim, I've seen your picture on the stream here from time to time, and I know who it is. I can tell that, but not a whole lot more. With that, I think I'll say, well, we are 50 minutes after, so I'm going to say 73 to you guys, and I'll not be back on, so we'll see you maybe next Wednesday. This is N7KC. I'm Lee, and I'm in Port Angeles. Back to you, Dave.
Okay, we got that from you, Lee. Gosh, we're talking about birds. I think if I was in that gymnasium, definitely want to wear a hat. I was down to Ivers once downtown, and they had opened their new deck outside. Gosh, that really dates me many years back. They had refurbished it, and the reporter was doing a stand-up about it, standing on the sidewalk looking back over the deck towards Elliott Bay. And lo and behold, a seagull let loose and covered her whole head with white substance, you might say, and a little bit down her face. And she wasn't too concerned about that. She'd just been to the hairdresser and had her hair done. And so that was more of a concern for her than being hit. But things happen. Well, with that, push it back to Jim, N720.
N7QO. Well, I can appreciate that. A lot of ladies spend a lot of money on getting their hair done, and they like to go at least for a few days without having to wash it all out. That's a bummer. But I'm also in the camp of how does the bird get back to the owner? It may be captive there, but it may not want to come down from the rafters or not want to go back to the owner or something. Maybe it can't even recognize the owner. I don't know. Anyway, interesting. I've never heard of anything like that, a gym in which birds can fly. Novel idea. Wonder how much they charge for that, or if it's basically on the house. Interesting. Reset. Lee, thanks for the information on the boats. Every 2 years, about that could get pretty costly, I would think. I'm not sure how much it costs to get a boat out and have it out for a week and treat it like that. But it cannot be inexpensive. Interesting about the zinc, I have some neighbors here who put zinc strips on their roof, and they say it helps prevent moss from growing on their roofs. I don't know if there's any truth in that or not. What a lot of the neighbors do is spread laundry detergent on their roofs, and they seem to think that works a whole lot better. I don't know. I've tried a little bit of everything, and with my old roof, I couldn't get the moss to stop no matter what I did. Now that I've got a new roof, I'll bet I can go for at least a couple more years before it's going to need anything. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, 87CYM. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. And again, this is 87CYM on the OAP repeaters for our audio channel for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. So let's go on to Ron, 87CKU.
87CYM, the group 87CKU. Well, I don't know. I don't have much follow-up to those stories. I know that they sell baseball hats someplace that looks like a seagull with a poop on it. You see people walking around with it. Sometimes when you're out sightseeing, they sell them in these places. And you can sell baseball hats that have ponytails on them. I always kind of wanted one of those myself, but I never was fortunate, I guess, to run into one when I was in the buying group. And Jim, maybe you can address this, maybe in your flying, how about a bird strike? Have you had bird strikes in the airplane? Go ahead.
Yeah, usually there's this loud bang, and then you wind up, after you land, you see a dent there, and some blood and guts maybe. Unfortunately, it's not terribly uncommon. particularly around some of the airports that are next to bodies of water, which is where I usually wind up going. But yeah, it's definitely a problem.
Okay, well, I guess if they go through the engine, it's the bigger problem.
Yeah, it can be. Theoretically, the engines are tested with an 8-pound bird. I don't know. You never know exactly what's going to happen. There's always the likelihood that the bird could hit something and do some damage. I think it depends on maybe weather conditions, air density, how fast the engine is going, how much power the engine is producing, several other factors probably. But I think there have been a whole bunch of bird strikes that have not really affected the flight all that much, although some passengers may see some flames coming out the back for just a few seconds, but then there have been cases where engines have actually failed as well. Part of it depends on the size of the bird and maybe how many birds and maybe your speed and whatnot as well. That one fellow who landed in the Hudson lost both engines due to birds. I'm not sure if that's ever happened before. It was a very unlucky day for them. It's fortunate that the ending turned out as well as it did.
Oh man, that's for sure. And then I'm sitting here thinking, what about lightning? Is lightning a big problem?
Yeah, lightning's a problem. Every now and then as you're walking around an airplane, you'll see a little burn spot, little hole where it looks like it may have either entered or exited the aircraft. One day I saw a 727 that came in and there was a hole blown in the side of the fuselage next to the first officer's seat. It was probably, I don't know, maybe about 4 inches by 6 inches or something like that. It was plenty big enough you can see through it, and you could actually stick your hand through the hole. That was kind of impressive. The guy said, yeah, it really scared them when it first happened.
Wow, well, I can imagine that would be really scary. I never thought too much about that, but I bet. Yeah, what an experience. Okay, well, I guess I'll say 73. We're just about out of time, so turn it back over to you, Dave. 87ZYM, 87CKU. Good night, all.
Well, thanks for that, Ron. That's been a nice net this evening with M720HM, 87CKU, M7KC, and myself, 87ZYM on the net this evening. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine for allowing us to use it on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. And again, thanks to the PTAC Repeater Group for allowing that to happen. So I'll be signing off now at 2100 hours. Good evening all.
N7KC disconnected.